Hi, guys. It's a terrific Thursday, and welcome to this week's Ask the Provider live event. We're really excited. We had a great week. Hopefully, you did as well. Oh my goodness, we have lots to talk about today. Really great questions are coming in, and the one that we're going to talk about today really is really near and dear to my heart. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. As always, we like to share a little bit about the network and who we are and what we do. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about today's sponsor. And then we're going to go ahead and get right into our Ask the Provider question. So the Residential Home Care Network is a consortium of adult family care home and assisted living providers that are serving in a private home setting. And our function really is to try to help families in a more budget-friendly environment provide long-term care. It could be anything as simply as I need assistance with my activities of daily living to someone who needs memory care. And then we do have memory care facilities as well. Hi, Marilyn. Thank you for stopping in. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. So the network has been around since 2015, and we are so excited about our progress in such a short time. Right now, we have 3 chapters of the network. The Orange Seminole chapter is available to folks and providers in our area. Then we have a chapter in Osceola County. We have a chapter in Lake County. And guess what, y'all? We're now talking to providers in Lake County to maybe make this available. So what's the purpose? What we discovered was that families were not given all the opportunities that were available to them when it came time to making a decision about leaving a home, leaving a rehab center, maybe leaving a hospital. And maybe the big facility isn't for them. Maybe they wanted a more person-centered, personalized care environment. So that's where we came in. There are several adult family care homes and assisted living facilities serving in private home settings. And the beauty of this is that you're getting that kind of one-on-one care that you may not be able to get in a larger community. So we just wanted to share that with the world, if you will, and to let everybody know that you have additional options. And yes, oftentimes our options are a little bit more budget friendly. So that's kind of who we are. We've been around since 2015, and we meet monthly. The Orange Seminole chapter meets monthly at One Senior Place in Altamont Springs. We do it the first Thursday of every month. We have a lunch meeting from 12:30 to 2:30. Everybody is welcome to join us. Providers can join in, and it's not going to cost you anything. If you are a guest, it is a $10 cover donation to cover the cost of lunch. What we love about that location is it's centrally located. So if you're coming from Volusia County, or you're coming from Osceola right off I-4, boom, we're right there, right? So that's where we are. To reach us, you can email me at asktheprovider@gmail.com, and so we can answer questions that you may have. In addition to that, we have a reference guide that's available that lists all the private home care communities that are on board. That is available to you by just asking the provider an email. Or if you're over at One Senior Place, we do have that information in the library. But we are most excited is about our website. So our website, residentialhomecarenetwork.org, is nationwide. And basically what this does is, let's say that you're at home in Jersey or you're in Philly, and you need to place your loved one who lives here. They can't go it alone anymore, right? And so you need to find a location, but you really want to keep them in a more person-centered environment. Well, guess what? You can tour the homes just from the comfort of your home in Jersey or your home in Philly. And on there, you have video tours of many of our facilities. Hi, Trisha. Thank you for watching, and I know you're out of the country and you're watching. Rock on! And so you can tour from the comfort of your home. On the website, you also have contact information directly for the providers. Who better, right, to ask questions than the provider themselves? They're the ones that are going to be caring for your loved one, your mom, your dad, or whoever. So these tools are available to you. We have also put testimonials from happy families on our website. So check it out. I ask the provider at gmail.com or the residentialhomecare.network.org. So we are kind of the advocacy arm, if you will, for the private home personal care community. It's just our way of saying, hello, we're here, and we just want you to know that, right? So in addition to that, you also have access to the Osceola group that meets quarterly. We're having a meeting next week, Thursday. So they meet quarterly, and so the same thing for Lake, they meet quarterly as well. So thanks, Paul. Absolutely person-centered cares all the way. I so agree. And so in addition to how can you be a part of this network? So if you're not a provider, not to worry. We have been very blessed to have some sponsors on our website. Vitas Healthcare has been our, premier sponsor, if you will, since inception back in 2015. And can I tell you, without them, I don't think that we would have met as many people as we have. We have been in and out of facilities, large and small, just making connections. They are such a fabulous organization. And so as a premier member, their information is on every single page of our website. In addition to that, their collateral is available as something that we can offer to our clients in the premier members facilities. So just wanted you to know that. If you wanted to be a community sponsor, that is $50 a month. And if you go to our website on the community tab, you're going to see all of our community sponsors. So with a community sponsor, it could be a home health agency. It could be a doctor, like my doctor that I use in my facility. They go from home to home. And so they are a sponsor on our website. So take a look at some of our sponsors. Today we're going to talk specifically about one, because I think it kind of ties in to the conversation that we're going to have about help. I'm a caregiver and I hate it. Struggle is real, right? For those of you who have been in that seat, and I certainly have. So that's how you can become a sponsor. So we welcome that, right? So that said, hopefully I will see you at the next meeting next month, first Thursday. We'll be sending out invitations. If you would like to get on our list, just send us an email at asktheprovider@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to add you to our database. Not a problem. So that said, let's talk a little bit about today's sponsor. We're excited about them. I've had the opportunity to use that service. Let me tell you about these sweet ladies with Always First Companion Service. If you have never used Always First Companion Service, this is a great tool for you, and you do not have to be a facility to be able to use their service. These sweet ladies have a business that's been around for many years, and they provide companionship for your loved one. So let's say that, you just want to get away for a minute and you don't want to leave your loved one alone. They will provide staffing so that you can do just that. They provide escorts for shopping, religious services, errands, outings, events, if they need to go on a doctor's appointment. These are things that their companion service is able to provide for you. In addition to that, meal planning and preparation. They can come in and help with the meal and help with the preparation of it. They can do laundry. They can do light housekeeping. So as a caregiver, right, don't feel like you have to go it alone. And that's one of the reasons I selected this particular company to showcase, because we're going to talk about, how to avoid caregiver burnout and to get to the place where you actually do hate it, right? There are companies so that you don't have to go it alone. Always First can also help you with correspondence and record keeping. They can help you with medication reminders, right? They cannot give medication. They can't help to self-administer, but they can help you position yourself so that there are reminders in place. And they also do wellness check-ins, mornings and evenings. So give Deborah or Leslie a call. Visit their website, alwaysfirstcompanion.com. Really, really great group of ladies. How did I use them in my facility? My staff had vacation time, and so I had to go out in a pinch. Everything was already done. The ladies were asleep, but I needed a companion to be there while I was gone for those 2 or 3 hours. And they sent the most delightful lady over, and it was just a blessing to me. And I'm a provider, so if you're a caregiver, you can use these services as well. All right, so don't forget, always first, companion services. So that now is a perfect segue into today's topic about help. I'm a caregiver and I hate it. And so that spoke to my heart, right? It's difficult. You have to maintain a sense of humor because caregiver burnout is real. So we're going to talk about the different things that you're going to go through, right? Steps that you can take for self-care, and then how to prepare yourself once you get to that place where you have to make a decision, right? So one of the first things I want you to work on to make sure is that your mental health is very important. Depression, anxiety, those kinds of things plague the caregiver, right? Because you've taken on a huge responsibility. And in doing that, you feel like you have to make all the decisions. It's all on your shoulders. And then you get to the place where you're depressed and you're anxious and you're not eating well. Self-care is very important. You want to take a break. So I would encourage you, like we discussed earlier about always first. And if it's not a company, it could be family members. You want to give someone else an opportunity to come in and give you a break. Don't feel that if it's not done by you, it's not going to get done well, right? For those of us with type A personalities, we really do believe that if we're not in control, it's not going to get done. Well, you know what? Not necessarily so. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you want to do is be able to navigate this for the long term. And sometimes it is. For me, it was 5 or 6 years that I was a caregiver with her in my home. And yeah, I had to practice self-care. So just those kinds of things, because if you do not, then you're starting to run into having health issues. So you're not sleeping, you're not eating, or if you're not eating, you're eating too much. Not eating was not my problem. Eating the wrong things was my issue, right? And before you know it, you're packing on the pounds. You're eating mindlessly for no reason except that it's stress. So for me, the way to sort of combat that was to make sure I had a workout routine in place. And so I would always go to the gym. And I think if I did not do that, I probably would have been much larger. Because I found myself eating things that I wouldn't normally eat, wasn't supposed to be eating. So I want you to think about that, right? If you're not well, your mental well-being is not being addressed, then it carries over into health issues. You cannot take care of someone else if you're not well yourself, right? That makes sense. So when my heart hears help, I'm a caregiver and I hate it, it's quite possible you hate it. Not so much that you hate that person, but you find yourself in a role where you're out of control and everything is not going in your nice little world the way it used to be. I know mine was. So just think about that. Other kinds of things that come up is, work and the stress of having to leave work to be able to take care of a need. I'll have lots of stories. And so I remember one day I'm at work and before I could leave her alone with no problems. But then it started changing. And she would call me home at work and go, uh-oh, I just made a mistake. And I'm thinking, oh my word, what mistake? I think the worst one was dropping the coffee pot with coffee and glass all over the kitchen floor. So what do you have to do? You're now leaving work. If you don't have understanding bosses, that's stressful, right? So I had to come home and sure enough, there was coffee and glass all over the floor, which is not safe for her. And of course, those things adding up led to my making the decision that she could no longer stay by herself. So when you find yourself in that situation as a caregiver, and you realize now it's compromising my very livelihood at work, it's putting a financial strain on me, if you will, then you have to ask yourself, do I need to talk to my superiors and ask for a different work schedule? Okay, that is just one other tip. For example, my job, they knew what was happening. They knew I was a caregiver. And they were very supportive when I went to them and said, hey, may I do 10-hour days, Monday to Thursday, and have Friday off? Or I could do it Tuesday to Friday and have Monday off. It doesn't really matter. But I need one day. Because what's happening is on that day, you could do all the appointments. You could do all the doctors. You could do the pharmacy runs. So you don't feel like you have to do everything on a lunch hour, you know. Less stress, better health as you go through it so that you don't end up hating them and hating you. Okay? Again, not that you're being mean, but those emotions are very, very real, right? Right? So just think about that. Then there come a time when you have to make the decision. And the decision will be, I can't do this by myself anymore. I need to place them someplace. Is this the right time? What are my options? And that is where the network comes in and why we created it. We had you in mind when we created this network because we realized you didn't know we existed. Right? And so the purpose of this network is so that you now have someone that's an owner that owns a facility in a private home so we can keep your loved one in a home environment for as long as they can until it becomes medically necessary to go to maybe a skilled unit, or if their behavior is such that they can't stay in a small environment, then we partner with the larger communities that have the staff to help someone that navigates behavior issues that might be difficult. So we had you in mind when we created this network. And so when you go to our website, the residentialhomecarenetwork.org, you'll be able to tour each facility, call the owners directly, come by and see, and bring your loved one if that's a possibility to help you navigate when it gets to that way. So that's just one resource that's available for you. Where we have our meetings at One Senior Place, that's a tremendous resource. And it's named apropos because it's where you can go, one-stop shop, to find out everything that you would need to be able to help navigate through that. And they'll talk about long-term care planning. They will talk about facilities. I mean, you name it. So One Senior Place is also a really great tool. Then, of course, you have other challenges. If your loved one is a behavior issue, right? They were sweet as pie, and then all of a sudden, they started cussing you out, and that was not in their character, okay? That is true. It happens. It happened to me. Or it could be something as simple as they started trying to leave the house. They would unlock the doors. Then they would stand in the street and not remember where to go. Or they would still want to drive. And you had to take the keys away. I know when I had to take the keys away, I had to promise her, I'm taking the keys temporarily. But she insisted we must keep the garage. She lived in an apartment. Keep the garage because I'm going to be getting another car. I had to get rid of the car. These are tough decisions to someone who is still in their right mind, but are slowly edging into early onset dementia. These are caregiving problems. These are real things that you're going to have to deal with. You're already dealing with, and we just wanted you to know there is help. There are folks that you can talk to. The Alzheimer Dementia Resource Center, which we talked about last week, is a great resource. Another great resource that I personally like was Share the Care. If you don't know about that wonderful organization here in Orange County, I would encourage you to do that. Share the Care provides an opportunity for you, the caregiver, to have respite care, right? So here is how it works. The social worker will come by and they will visit with you in your home, because that's what they did with me and my auntie. They came by, they visited with me as a caregiver, and we talked about what our needs were. They understood that I was on the edge, right? And so I come to find out they had supportive services where she could go to attend an what do you call it, like a day program. Yep. And so we partnered with Links. They would pick her up, take her to the day program, which she absolutely loved because she could play dominoes with these older gentlemen. And she was a really, really good domino player. So that was fun for her. She was off-site. That gave me a break. And then they had something called a caregiver conference, where in which they paid for her to stay in a respite environment, and then invited me to this caregiver conference with a whole bunch of other caregivers that were going through the same thing at a ridiculously discounted rate. So Share the Care is a really great resource. We stayed at a hotel down in Disney area for 3 days. I think it cost back then was like $75 for the whole weekend. It was something really ridiculous like that. But can I tell you, it was a state-of-the-art event, formals, dinners, lunches. You had time to breathe as a caregiver. So I just want you to know, don't go it alone. Don't get to the place where you go, I hate it, I can't stand it, right? That usually happens when you try to go it alone. So we just want you to know that we are here as a resource. Share the Care is here as a resource. One Senior Place is here as a resource, so that you don't have to go it by yourself. Because oftentimes you're not going to be able to get the help maybe that you need from the family support, right? Hi, Tony. Good to see you as well. Hey, Carolyn. Thank you for stopping. You could also run into a situation where you know the loved one has to be placed, but he or she is fighting you on it, right? Because in their mind, there's nothing wrong, and they're not going, and they're not going to be placed, and they're going to make your life HE double hockey sticks. So, again, ask me how I know. So, yeah, I went through the same thing. She knew that I was looking at placing her in a facility, and she was determined she was not going. And I don't think it really hit her until I started packing the house. And then I met with the memory care unit folks, explained my concern, decided that that was a great place for her. They came and helped me to transition her. And I cannot say enough about Terry Lewis. If you all don't know Terry, she was very instrumental in helping me. She's with Senior Connections. She was very helpful in helping me navigate that to get her from the home that we were in and transition to the memory care unit. Was she happy about it? Of course not. But it needed to happen, right? Because she wasn't safe anymore. And I still had to go to work, just like you as a caregiver. You still have to go to work, right? But you still want to be responsible to make sure that they are safe. So if she's not cooperating or he's not cooperating, don't give up. Get someone to help you through that, all right? There are different, excuse me, there are different behavioral issues that come up. It doesn't mean that that person has dementia. It doesn't mean that they have Alzheimer's. Something as simple as a UTI, believe it or not, can cause a behavior issue. So I want you to think about that. I know, just a simple example, I know with my auntie, when she had a UTI, her blood pressure increased tremendously. And so that was a telltale sign for us. So it wasn't that she needed to be hospitalized, but we need to be able to talk to her doctor and navigate through that. So kind of know your doctors, talk to your doctors. Everything does not require a hospital visit. Don't get stressed out about it. You know your family. Talk to your doctors first. Let them know what's going on, and let them know what's going on with the behavior. We don't want to misdiagnose families. You know, everything is dementia now. No, not necessarily. It could be something as simple as a UTI. So be thinking about that, right? End of care placement is very difficult. Okay, I don't want to pretend that it is easy. But just having someone alongside you to help you make that decision, whether it's an adult family care home, an assisted living facility in a private home second setting that we like what we have, or if they need a larger facility, right? I know with my auntie, I had to place her in a larger facility simply because at the time she was so angry and combative. Putting her in a private home, she would have made sure everybody else was miserable. So that was not a good fit. Yeah. So I ended up placing her in a unit that had maybe 60 beds. It wasn't too bad. So just keep thinking about the different options, right? And then if you know that they're more amenable, they are part of the discussion, and they want to stay home as opposed to somewhere else, then that's where the residential home care community comes in. So hopefully you find value in the information that we are providing today. Hopefully you find value in the network itself, because, really we're just an advocate for the private homes. We're an advocate. They do really great work, right? They are so vested, particularly the adult family care home providers. Why? Because they live with your mom and dad. They live there, right? They live there. Their husbands are there. Their kids are there. So they get such love and personalized care. Oh my goodness, you can't beat that, right? So that's why we're such an advocate at the network for all these facilities that are doing such great work, right? And we just wanted you to know that. Once again, I'm at 5 minutes to go. I cannot believe that. Oh, okay. So last but not least, let's just sort of recap. The Residential Home Care Network, ways to communicate with us are, you can go to our website, residentialhomecarenetwork.org. You can email us at asktheprovider@gmail.com. You can come and visit us on Facebook Live every single Thursday at 6 p.m. And hey, guess what? If you have a question that you are like burning to ask, email us. Hey, let's talk about this particular topic next week, right? And so we can sort of filter it through and see if that's something that we want to put in rotation. But yeah, ask questions. That's why we are here. So you Gmail, you can email, you can do the Facebook Live, and last but not least, you can actually come to the meetings, hey, and meet the providers themselves, right? What better way? So our meetings are 2 hours. Come, have some lunch, meet the providers, and get to know us, right? We're real people taking care of real people. So hopefully this Thursday was really great for you. We will see you again next Thursday, same time, same place. And until then, my time is up. I thank you for yours.